Hey, I'm Vin, and this is Give It Space. For the next few minutes, we're going to sit with one feeling, idea, social norm, identity, or just whatever might be weighing on us in this moment. Together, we'll explore where it comes from, why it lingers, and give it room to breathe without trying to fix anything. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's give it some space. Hello and welcome. I apologize in advance because it is raining outside and you can hear the rain. You can determine whether or not it's aesthetically pleasing enough for you, or if it's getting in the way, or if it's disrupting the sound. I find it peaceful and tranquil, so I don't mind it, but to each their own. Today's episode is all about envy. We all feel it, but what is it trying to tell us? Where does it come from? Where does it show up for each of us individually? And in honor of St. Patrick's Day, which is when a lot of you will be listening to this, and when it's being posted, we're going green with envy. Get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? I also have my green lights today, if you can kind of see them. And I didn't intentionally wear all green, but then I got in my room and I was like, wow, I'm literally wearing all green. My headphones are green, my hat is green, my sweatshirt's green. So happy St. Patrick's Day, my fellow Irish. Why did I say it like that? Irish? My fellow, what am I trying to say? Irish people, Irish lads, Irish descendants. Yeah, okay. Anyways, Ireland. So, me personally, I know when I'm feeling envious, and I'm pretty much able to identify it most of the time. But what exactly is envy? That's been my question. I think I unintentionally confuse it with jealousy a lot. So, Dictionary.com defines envy as a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. Which, again, I confuse it with jealousy a lot, which is defined as feeling or showing envy of someone or their achievements and advantages. So they do sound a little bit similar, and jealousy does include envy in its definition, but jealousy and envy are definitely not the same. I'll do a whole other episode on jealousy, so don't you worry about that. We will get to it. But for now, we're going to stick with envy because, again, it's green and St. Patrick's Day, and we feel it, and it's happening, and we might as well talk about it. Envy is feeling like you deserve something that somebody else has, a longing, whereas jealousy is more of a intense, protective reaction, possessive almost. You're trying to keep something that you have to yourself, whereas envy is you want something that somebody else has. I listened to my first Mel Robbins podcast a couple of months ago, and she was a guest on somebody else's podcast, like an interview podcast. So of course I can't find it now, but if you know what I'm talking about, feel free to leave it in the comments what episode it is, or the title, or the number, or whatever, so I can go back and find it and listen to it again because it was helpful. But she said something along the lines of envy being sourced by an internal knowing that you deserve what someone else has. So basically, your feeling of envy, of dissatisfaction, is caused by this subconscious idea that what someone else has that you are feeling envious of is really something that you are meant to have, which is why you have that aggressive reaction and negative reaction, is because it's sort of jealousy almost, but extended jealousy, where it turns into just this green with rage type thing. And that really rang true for me because there have been a couple of instances in my life where I get really envious of other people, and I didn't originally understand why it was envy and not jealousy, but looking back now, knowing what I know now, it's a lot easier for me to decipher those emotions right off the bat. So I'm going to share some of those examples with you. Maybe you can relate to them. Maybe you have your own ideas that you're coming up with as I share these, but these are some examples of when I have felt envious of something. The first one is, and I've said this in a couple of other podcasts of mine, but I used to model for a company in Chicago, and I was there for 7 years. And after a while, I stopped getting jobs. We don't have to go into the what and why behind that reasoning, but I just stopped getting casted. I stopped going to calls. I stopped getting jobs. And there was a couple of other models that were around the same age as me, the same height, the same weight, and the same body type. And I had moved out of state. Who knows what the reasons were? Well, I know what the reasons were why I wasn't getting jobs. But if you know the sporting brand Wilson, I used to do something called fit modeling for them, which is where you're not actually on like any of the magazines. You're not on the websites. You're not doing like photo shoots or anything. You just go to the brand's location and you try on non put out clothes. So like there are clothes that are still being designed. You try them on, you wear them around, you wear them in front of like a whole group of people who are just sitting there staring at you. And for Wilson specifically, I was trying on athletic clothes, obviously. So they wanted you to like bend and do lunges and like pretend to run in them or whatever to see how they fit, which is why it's called a fit model. And after a while, like I stopped being hired for that job and somebody else started being hired for that job, even though I hadn't gained weight. I hadn't done anything different. And for fit modeling, all that really matters is your measurements. And my measurements hadn't changed. So I was like, why are they replacing me with somebody else when I haven't changed? And I started feeling really envious because I was like, well, why are they getting that job? That was my job. I can still do it. I'm perfectly capable of doing that job. Why is somebody else getting it? Why did they stop picking me? Why did they pick someone else? I recognized that I was feeling envious and I was like, why do I feel like this? Like that person didn't do me wrong. It's not their fault that they got picked for the modeling job that I used to get. And it's probably not like the board of directors' fault or whatever. Maybe they didn't like me. Maybe they wanted somebody who lived closer. There could be a million reasons why they picked somebody else. And I didn't have a justified reason for feeling envious. I mean, it was justified because obviously it was frustrating and I felt bad and I felt insecure. But I was pushing that envy on somebody else. And that is what made it feel not so great. And that's what made it feel so confusing to me is I was like, well, what gives? Why are you doing this to me? Like this is so unfair. And I knew that those are jobs that I should be getting. In my mind, I was like, that's mine. That's my job. I should be the one doing that. I should be the one getting paid to do that. Why is somebody else taking my spot? So that was example number one. Example number two, basically same thing. I had some friends in high school and they post all about like their post-college stuff on social media. And one of them is currently studying abroad in Spain. And I've always wanted to go to Spain, not saying that it's specifically this place, but I had applied to do a study abroad and grad school abroad. And I got into those grad schools abroad, but I couldn't end up going for financial reasons. And I found out that one of these people from high school was going abroad post grad. And I was like, what the fuck? That should be me. Like, that is something that I should be doing. And I felt really envious because I was like, why do they get to do that and I don't? Why do they get to go to Spain and I have to stay here and wallow in the United States because I can't afford to go abroad? It just didn't seem fair. Again, and that's what it boils down to is I felt like it wasn't fair that they got that opportunity and I didn't. And then the last one that I'll talk about is even talking about the times where I felt envious just makes me feel like a shitty person. It makes me feel so self-centered and like an asshole. But that's part of this process is just getting it out there. Maybe some of you can relate. But another one was when I had a TikTok account during the whole anime trend in like 2020, 2021. I started gaining a following. And I was really proud of that following because I thought that my content was pretty original and it was funny. And I was doing these stupid little skits and people were talking about it and it was fun. But there was also like 200 plus other content creators creating the same types of videos as me. And I would see some of their stuff go viral and I would see some of their stuff get millions of views and they would do like creator meetups and they'd be meeting all of these popular anime creators that I wanted to meet. And I was like, well, we're making the same type of content. Our videos are basically the exact same. It's just different people. You're doing cosplays. I'm doing cosplays. The only difference is that you have 200,000 more followers than I do. What gives? That should be me. I should be the one who has 1 million followers on TikTok because I'm creating the same type of content and people like my stuff just as much as they like your stuff. Why am I not getting 1 million likes? Why am I not getting 300,000 followers? Why am I not being invited to Comic-Cons and getting brand deals? And it just became this huge source of envy for me. And I think a lot of it stemmed from my own insecurity and just not really believing that I could have those things and that I was deserving of those things. And so instead of using it as motivation to change my beliefs, I just used it as motivation to hate on other people because that was easier for me to just throw myself a pity party instead of actually put in work. But it also shows up physically for me, not just the emotional immaturity and envy. It's a physical reaction, especially when I feel dysphoric about things. I'll see somebody with abs and immediately think, why can't I have abs? And then I start to feel insecure, and then I start to feel envious, thinking that that should be me. I should be having abs. I should be able to go shirtless and not feel insecure about my stomach or whatever. I should have abs and tan skin and long thick hair and clear skin and perfect white teeth and narrow hips. We feel envy because in the back of our minds we compare ourselves to others. That's where the line is drawn. That's what it is. We just compare ourselves. We think, well, why should they have that instead of me? I should have those things. I want that, which is telling of our inner desires and our deepest insecurities. There's a reason why envy is included as the second of 7 deadly sins. If you're religious, I'm not, but I find the 7 deadly sins really interesting. Envy makes you look at another person's success with sadness or with resentment, believing that their good fortune lessens your own, making you want to destroy it or claim it for yourself. It's not a fear of losing something you already have, like jealousy. It's the notion that you want what others have and will take drastic measures to alter your material or spiritual reality to equal or supersede that of somebody else. While it's not often that envy results in violent physical outbursts, they do happen. And I could go into depth, or I could go more into depth of what those look like. Oftentimes it's just criminal actions, which typically people end up in jail for, but it's more common for envy to be displayed as intense psychological distress, paranoia, and inferiority. It's most apparent now with the use of social media. Envy is literally everywhere. Every time you use your phone, you're more likely to feel envious of somebody online. And this can show up as passive-aggressive behavior, like rumor spreading and backhanded compliments. The one I hear most often is in regards to women on TikTok, specifically bigger women who don't fit the Barbie doll skinny stick stereotype. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Being told that they seem funny or, oh, I love how confident you are, instead of talking about their beauty. We are so ingrained to believe and equate size and weight with beauty. And when we see somebody who doesn't fit our standard of beauty, we immediately resolve to complimenting them in backhanded ways, in saying, oh, you're so funny, or, oh, you're so confident, oh, you have great skin, or, oh my gosh, your eyelashes are so long, instead of just saying, like, you're really attractive. You're a very pretty human being. Like, we don't want to comment on their body, but as soon as it's a skinny person, it's, oh my God, you're so skinny. Oh my God, you have a perfect body. Oh my God, your stomach is so flat. That's so pretty. So backhanded compliments is definitely one way of showing up as envy. It also shows up as social isolation, removing the person you are envious of from their group of friends or from coworkers or from whatever. The best example being the one of the boys scenarios that you always hear about, where one girl is typically friends with a bunch of guys and behaves like the guys and therefore believes that she's not better than other girls, but that like she has an in with these boys. And oftentimes when another girl comes into the group or is trying to come into the group or is dating somebody in the group, the original one of the guys, girls, gets possessive over the guys. And that's jealousy, is the possessiveness of, you can't have what I have. But there's also envy of, I want what you have with these guys, and that's not a level that I can be at yet. Because, oh my God, there's like rage bait videos on TikTok of like these pick me, one of the boys, girls. There's this specific creator who does all of these skits, and it literally is infuriating to watch because it's so accurate. Like, I know you're acting, but you're making me rage in my room at home because it's giving pick me, and it throws me back into high school where that did happen, where I had a friend who would like gatekeep things from me because she had a group of boys that she was friends with, and all of them really just wanted to have sex with her. That's why they were friends with her. I'm like, what are we doing? And like, as soon as another girl would try and join the group, it was chaos. It was like, it disrupted the entire dynamic of the friend group because all of a sudden this girl would just get so bitchy to the new girl. And it was like, you're not allowed to be friends with my friends. You're not allowed to be one of the boys. That's my spot. And again, it just stemmed from insecurity because you should never feel possessive over a group of guy friends. You should never be centering your life around men, first and foremost. But it goes beyond that too. It's like if you're feeling so insecure about what another person has to where you feel like you need to gatekeep things and push that person out of the friend group because you feel so threatened by them, that's you problem. But we don't need to go into that right now. That's another topic for another day. And then another example is competition. Oh my God, have I dealt with this my entire life? I deal with this a lot. I've had to have so many conversations about this with so many different people that I can't even count anymore. I can't even keep track. But for me, it's shown up as like small one-uppings in casual conversation where I would be like, oh, I just got a raise at my new job. And the other person would say, oh, really? Well, I just got promoted to manager at my company. So beat that. Or, hey, look, I'm going on anxiety medication because my anxiety has gotten really bad and it's leading me to feel depressed. So my doctor recommended this medication for me. And then they're like, oh, well, I've been on Zoloft since I was 13 because I was so suicidal. Or, yeah, I've gotten pretty good at doing tarot card readings and I'm getting to the point where I can sell my services online and read pretty accurately. And I might even start doing like channeled messages. And then another person will be like, oh, yeah, well, I can perform exorcisms and my best friend is the Pope and Jesus is one of my spirit guides and I talk to him. like, like, what is the reason? What was the reason? I think you get my point. Sorry, I'm just like thinking of all of these scenarios in my mind and all of these like one-upping points that have happened to me in the past, and it's, the memories. Psychology Today states that, ironically, the energy expended in the act of feeling envy holds us back from realizing our full potential. Envy also undermines our relationships. In some cases, it can lead to acts of sabotage, like a little kid throwing a built Lego set on the ground because if he can't have it, nobody can. Over time, our envy creates mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, and insomnia, as well as physical problems such as infections, cardiovascular disease, and even cancer. We are literally consumed by our envy, which is where the green with envy phrase comes from. As in the past, it was believed that if you became so envious, you would literally get sick to the point where your skin turned like a gross, pale green color. So, yeah, we're green with envy, and green because it's St. Patrick's Day. In some people, envy can be seen as apathy, irony, scorn, skepticism, and narcissism. While in others, a common defense against envy is to incite it in people they envy, reasoning that if they envy us, then we won't envy them. People take great care to disguise their envy, going as far as to reassign envy, pain, or the feelings of failure onto minority groups such as the gays, such as immigrants, such as a religious minority, as a means of scapegoating, placing blame on somebody else so they don't have to acknowledge their own blame. But envy isn't easy to dismantle. We often forget in the heat of the moment all of the work and effort behind other people's successes and possessions. It's easy to conflate wealth with happiness or fame with nepotism and so on. It's easy to want something without knowing what it takes to get it. I can want a six-pack all day until I realize I would have to cut out sugar. I would have to go on a calorie deficit. I would have to go to the gym twice a day for the rest of my life to maintain those abs. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that, so I'm just not going to have abs. So I shouldn't feel envious of people with abs knowing what it takes to get it, and that I'm not willing to do that, at least not right now. It's all about your perspective. And to give ourselves some perspective, we're going to pause and give envy some space. As I've said before, I'm not a professional, not a therapist, not a life coach, or a motivational speaker. Envy is something we all feel. It's difficult to avoid and even more difficult to acknowledge. So I want all of us to just recognize it within ourselves. This is an exercise I like to do in each episode where we just sit with our feelings for a moment. We acknowledge them without problem solving. So if you'd like to join me, you can start by taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you're in a safe place, try closing your eyes, becoming less aware of your physical body and more aware of your mind. In your head, I want you to think of all of the times you felt envious of something or someone. Remember what it felt like to want what they have, to desire something so strongly, to believe wholeheartedly that this thing, place, idea, business, or whatever it is should be yours, should be within your reach, should be your reality. Now I want you to remember these affirmations. Keep them with you, or you can repeat them after me. I am not defined by the successes or possessions of others. I choose to celebrate the wins of others, knowing there is enough abundance for all of us. My path is unique, and I am exactly where I need to be. I release the urge to compare myself to others. And with that, you can open your eyes again after you take as many deep breaths as you need, reminding yourself that we don't have to be ashamed of our envy. We all deserve to feel secure and confident in ourselves and our goals. The more we acknowledge our envy, the less it can control us and dictate our actions. If we don't have one thing, we will always have another. That's how life works. Someone will always be envious of what we have, as will we be envious of what others have. There's no avoiding that. But instead of focusing on what we lack, what if we focused on what we already have and what we can celebrate right now in this moment, in ourselves, in our reality? Humility, gratitude, confidence, and perspective can help us rise above our envy. So yeah, that's envy. That's being green with envy. I am trying not to feel envious of the podcasters that have more followers, the podcasters that have more listeners, the podcasts who are making money off of podcasting, of my friends who are making more money than I am at the moment, of, everything. There's a lot to feel envious of, but I'm doing what I can in the moment. I'm living my life as I see fit, and I have a lot to celebrate, even if it is just the small things. That's what life is about, celebrating the small things, celebrating the small wins. That's all we can do. Don't be envious on St. Patrick's Day, though. There is so much to celebrate on St. Patrick's Day. Before you go, I want to remind you of, I mentioned it last week, and I will be mentioning it again because I'm so excited about it. It's my mini-series called Rinse and Replay, which is starting soon, hopefully as soon as I can get some stories. I have created and posted a Google form on all of my platforms. It's in my Instagram bio, it'll be in my YouTube bio, it's in my TikTok bio, it'll be in the show notes for this episode, so you can find it anywhere. Similar to Reddit stories, I'm asking listeners to share a memory that randomly pops into your mind that you replay and wish you handled differently. And these memories often replay while you're in the shower for some reason. I don't know. That happens to me all the time. It's literally only in the shower that I think of these stories. I'm like, what the fuck? Is it just something about I don't know. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you the science behind it. But basically stories that you think of in the shower that make you replay scenarios from a long time ago. These are the kind of memories that make you act out the argument while the conditioner is still in your hair. The kind that makes you think of a good comeback only 5 years later, and then you hash out the whole conversation in your head in the shower because you just now thought of a good comeback. Or one that is so embarrassing that you still feel red in the face while thinking about it. Once you find the link, you can submit anonymously or use made-up names because selected stories will be read on the podcast and shared on YouTube for live reactions and commentary. I'll likely be bringing in guests to help me read and respond to your stories, so you can look forward to that as well. It's not just going to be me anymore. I just want to preface by saying that this mini-series is not intended to make fun of anybody. It's not to give advice or say if you were wrong or right in your story. It's to help you get these memories off of your chest and into the open for an unbiased party to read and decipher what emotions, what learnings, or what habits lie underneath the surface of whatever you're telling us happened. I've included some questions as prompts in the form if needed, but I would love to start creating this mini-series content as soon as next week if possible. Be sure to get your stories in there so you can be one of the first people to ever have a story read on Rinse and Replay podcast, because it's going to be lit. It's going to be epic. I'm so excited for it. You should be excited for it too. And as soon as I can get the ball rolling on this, the better off we will all be. Thank you so much for listening. I'm really grateful that you're here. This is Give It Space, your virtual room to slow down, breathe, and just be for a moment. If you want to support this podcast and me, you can get updates and sneak peeks into upcoming episodes on Instagram, or subscribe to my YouTube channel for full videos and bonus content at Give It Space Pod. I'm always happy to hear your feedback or thoughts for future topics, so DM me on Insta or shoot me an email at giveitspacepod@gmail.com. I'm your host, Vin, and I will see you next time. Give me a minute. Give me a goddamn minute to collect myself. Wait. Or what? No. Wait. Huh? Sorry. Rewind. Wind it up. It also shows up as social. It also shows up as social. Oh my god. Somebody call 911. Shoddy fire burning on the dance floor. Anyway, sorry. Okay, it's raining harder now. Sorry. Anyways, psychology. Oh. What was that? This entire episode is just whack as fuck. Whack. Fuck. Sorry. I need help. Excuse me. Yeah. Get my arm comfy. Okay. Whoa. What am I saying? Okay. And to give ourselves some perspective, we're gonna go. Whoa. 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 You could submit anonymous. That's not English. Okay. You can submit anonymous. Oh my god. Why is my iPad doing this? What's an Irish thing I could say? Oh, I could play an Irish song. Actually, there's like a little. I'm gonna take us out with some Irish jigs. What is a freaking song? What is a freaking song? I don't remember. How do you do an Irish accent? I feel like going to Ireland and listening to true, authentic Irish folk music would heal a part of me that I didn't even know needed to be healed. The fuck? No, I don't want to go shopping. I just want to see the fucking brother. Ooh, electro jig music. There's Irish rock. No, I don't like that one. Irish punk? What is Irish punk? Okay, I'll fuck with it. Okay. Last one, I promise. Calming Irish music. This is really something. Relaxing vibes with the rain. I could literally do a whole meditation to this. Yeah. I'm about to be brought to tears. I can make myself crack, man, so that's not really a problem for me. But anyways, all right. I guess that's it. Oh, this goes on for a really long time. Okay, so pausing that, and I think we're done. So, bye, bye, bye.